The morning promised a routine journey across a serene, clear sky. Passengers settled while the state-of-the-art aircraft stood ready, engines primed for takeoff. In the cockpit, a highly experienced crew performed pre-flight checks with practiced precision, preparing for what seemed an ordinary flight. This setup, meant to be perfect, would later encounter unforeseen challenges within minutes of leaving the runway, leading to significant operational adjustments. The event stemmed not from engine or structural issues, but a tiny sensor. This small metal probe discreetly fed incorrect information into flight computers. Its erroneous data initiated a sequence of unexpected system responses, demonstrating how a minuscule flaw influenced complex operational sequences. This problem, not easily identifiable, involved a silent data corruption from an overlooked component, initiating an unforeseen system interaction. A barrage of warnings and alerts soon arose, presenting a complex challenge to highly skilled pilots who encountered a system they didn't recognize. The profound outcome involved two advanced aircraft encountering similar operational difficulties, leading to extensive investigations. Today, we explore the intricate story behind these Boeing 737 MAX incidents, detailing how events transpired and what details were unnoticed. One seemingly insignificant technical detail fundamentally altered modern aviation's landscape, a significant tale about a tiny sensor. To grasp the complexity, we trace steps back to the beginning, understanding circumstances predating critical flights and MCAS awareness. The aviation industry's competitive landscape drove decisions prioritizing market speed over safety, influencing a series of operational adjustments affecting public confidence. For decades, Boeing 737 was a reliable sky workhorse, renowned for rugged construction, predictable operation, and fuel efficiency worldwide. Its legacy of performance and trust faced challenge from a formidable competitor, initiating a new era of market pressure and corporate choices. In 2010, Airbus unveiled the A320neo, a groundbreaking new A320 iteration promising enhanced fuel efficiency, a critical industry advantage. Airline executives globally rushed to place orders, compelling Boeing to a crucial crossroads, facing a strategic dilemma defining its future. Boeing faced a choice: design a new aircraft from scratch, a monumental, costly, and lengthy endeavor, or quickly update its 737. Pressure from airlines favoring Airbus and the desire for market share led Boeing to prioritize expediency over fundamental redesign, a decision later examined. Boeing chose speed, driven by competition, leading to the 737 MAX. It featured larger, advanced CFM LEAP 1B engines for fuel efficiency. These bulkier powerplants required a crucial modification, placed higher and further forward on wings, altering the aircraft's aerodynamic profile. Engine relocation introduced an aerodynamic change. The aircraft pitched nose upward at higher angles of attack, a new pilot challenge. To counteract this, Boeing quietly introduced a sophisticated, yet ultimately flawed, software system into the MAX flight control architecture. This new software, MCAS, automatically pushed the nose down if it detected steep climbing, preventing an aerodynamic stall. Crucially, MCAS relied exclusively on a single angle of attack, AOA, sensor on the fuselage, a design choice later showing limitations. The angle of attack sensor is simple yet critical, precisely measuring the aircraft's nose tilt relative to airflow for safety. This measurement is crucial for understanding aerodynamic state. High angle suggests potential lift loss, low angle indicates inefficient operation. On most modern aircraft, AOA sensors are reference tools, aiding pilot decisions. Rarely do they independently control critical flight systems. On the 737 MAX, MCAS trusted a singular AOA sensor completely, initiating uncommanded nose-down commands based solely on its input. Boeing insisted the 737 MAX was just another 737, crafted to minimize extensive, costly pilot transition training for airlines. Most transitioning pilots received only cursory iPad-based training, a significant departure from rigorous simulator sessions typically required. Pilots were never informed about MCAS or its operations, its functions and triggers omitted from their training curriculum. This omission meant pilots were unaware when MCAS activated, left to manage an unrecognized system, a lapse in human-machine interface design. To illustrate the impact of the faulty sensor, we reconstruct a minute-by-minute timeline from two critical flights, Lion Air 610 and Ethiopian Airlines 302. The unfolding sequence of system responses and pilot actions reveals a notable similarity, highlighting a systemic characteristic regardless of crew. At T+0 minutes, takeoff commences. The aircraft, loaded with passengers and fuel, accelerates powerfully down the runway. With a gentle but firm lift, the wheels leave the ground, and the aircraft gracefully ascends, appearing perfectly normal. Inside the cockpit, pilots maintain calm professionalism. Their precise movements and clear communication reflect extensive training and experience. Passengers settle into seats, oblivious to the silent, unseen operational adjustments unfolding, anticipating a routine journey ahead. A silent component adjustment has occurred. The critical angle of attack sensor on the fuselage has become fixed at a high reading. This erroneous input suggested an imminent, non-existent stall to the system, though to pilots, nothing yet seemed amiss. 1 minute into flight, unsettling clues appear. A warning tone pierces the cockpit, followed by airspeed unreliable and altitude disagree alerts. These critical indications of conflicting data demand urgent attention, triggering the crew's well-rehearsed response protocols to verify information. Such alerts can stem from blocked sensors, static port issues, or data mismatches. The crew, maintaining composure, initiates standard checklist procedures. They diligently work through protocols to diagnose and resolve the developing situation, unaware of the unrecognized system interactions. Unbeknownst to pilots, deep within the flight computer, MCAS received faulty angle of attack data from the compromised sensor. Based on this erroneous data, MCAS interpreted an excessive upward pitch and silently activated, initiating its programmed nose-down response. At T+2 minutes, the autopilot disengages, requiring manual control. The horizontal stabilizer unexpectedly moves, initiating nose-down trim. The aircraft's nose immediately pushes downward, challenging the pilot's control inputs, who are visibly surprised by this uncommanded movement. Pilots instinctively pull back firmly on the control column with considerable effort, counteracting the unexpected nose-down pitch, successfully bringing the nose back up. No alarm, message, or indicator signals MCAS as the cause. The powerful, hidden software remains invisible, operating outside cockpit display awareness. At T+3 minutes, cockpit confusion intensifies. Pilots trim upward, believing they are resolving an instrument issue. Then, MCAS activates once more. A second, more forceful nose-down push takes hold, and the control column begins to tremble intensely. The aircraft accelerates downward as MCAS's uncommanded nose-down input strengthens. Pilots pull back with increasing effort. Their muscles strain against the control column as they try to manage complex, conflicting data, unaware a hidden system influences commands. At T+4 minutes, cockpit pressure intensifies. Warnings overwhelm the flight deck, including a vibrating stick shaker and shrill alarms. The cockpit is inundated by incorrect data from the single AOA sensor, creating a profoundly challenging diagnostic situation. Amidst sensory overload, MCAS silently triggers again, then once more. Each activation commands further nose-down trim. Pilots manage unrecognized system interactions for which they had no training. Automation, meant to assist, now influences commands. By T+5 minutes, manual control becomes an intensive physical and mental effort. Pilots pull back with full force. The trim wheel spins rapidly and autonomously, responding to MCAS inputs. Pilots attempt to reverse trim, but MCAS overrides their commands. The aircraft accelerates downward, nose-down input becomes powerful, requiring substantial pilot intervention. They consider a runaway stabilizer. MCAS's intermittent nature, activating in bursts, made diagnosis more confusing than a traditional, continuous runaway trim scenario. MCAS's intermittent activation, pausing then reactivating, rendered established runaway trim checklists ineffective, perplexing the pilots. Pilots manage a complex, unrecognized software logic defying their training. Each MCAS burst influences the aircraft's pitch, requiring continuous adjustments. At T+6 minutes, the situation becomes significantly challenging. The aircraft accelerates downward, approaching maximum operating speed. Control forces on the yoke require substantial, sustained effort from both pilots. They pull back with all their might. With limited time, they attempt a concentrated effort to guide the plane toward the airport, hoping for more moments. MCAS triggers a final, definitive time. The stabilizer moves to an extreme nose-down position, requiring extensive control adjustments. Pilots pull back with all remaining strength, pushing the column to its limit. The aircraft responds to automated inputs. The last cockpit seconds reveal intense, rapidly changing conditions. Blaring warnings fill the air, with strong vibrations shaking the aircraft. Outside, the ground rapidly approaches the aircraft's position. Then, with a final point of contact, the flight concludes. To understand why these flights face challenges, we delve into intricate technical systems and crucial human elements. The event was a complex interplay of design characteristics, human decision-making, and systemic areas for enhancement. Examining these factors provides a complete picture, revealing vulnerabilities demanding our unwavering attention in human-technology interaction. The technical breakdown reveals critical points, starting with MCAS design. The AOA sensor became the sole data source. This design choice, a single point of data input, meant the system relied on one probe, creating an area for enhancement in the design phase. If this single AOA sensor failed, due to damage, malfunction, or incorrect installation, MCAS would receive erroneous data. MCAS would then automatically interpret the aircraft's attitude as challenging and initiate a nose-down adjustment. Pilots would receive no explicit information indicating why their aircraft was pitching down, confronting an unrecognized system interaction. MCAS authority was greater than advertised. Boeing stated it made small, incremental adjustments, easily overridden by pilots. In reality, the system could repeatedly apply significant nose-down trim, exceeding descriptions and requiring substantial pilot effort. A consequential oversight was MCAS's absence in pilot training. Pilots received minimal iPad-based training, not dedicated simulator sessions. No detailed lesson plan explained MCAS functionality, triggers, or counteraction. Pilots learned about it after significant operational incidents. Beyond technical issues, human factors were significant. Pilots experienced intense information overload during operational sequences. This sensory and cognitive overload would challenge even skilled professionals to effectively diagnose and manage the situation. Adding to pressure was MCAS's ambiguous symptoms. Unlike classic runaway trim, MCAS activated intermittently, then restarted. It trimmed nose down under specific, unrecognized conditions, offering no explicit indication, making real-time diagnosis profoundly challenging. Pilots managed a system they never knew existed, challenging their implicit trust in the aircraft as a reliable partner. This unexpected divergence in human-machine interaction, where critical information was withheld, represents a significant challenge in aviation history. The aftermath of these events reshaped aviation worldwide, triggering intensive reevaluation of engineering accountability, design processes, and corporate ethics. It led to a significant overhaul of regulatory oversight, with authorities realizing the implications of trusting manufacturers without rigorous verification. Lessons from the 737 MAX incidents are etched into the industry, driving changes aimed at enhancing safety and preventing similar future operational challenges. Lesson 1: No more single-point failures. Reliance on a single sensor for critical data in flight control systems is now unacceptable. Redundancy is an essential requirement. Modern aircraft design mandates verifying sensor data across multiple, independent sources for safety. Lesson 2 mandates flight control software transparency. Critical systems with independent authority must not operate hidden from the crew. Pilots must possess comprehensive knowledge of such systems, their capabilities, activation triggers, and clear disabling procedures. Lesson 3 emphasizes pilot training must precisely match aircraft complexity. If a new system alters behavior, thorough training is mandatory. This includes comprehensive full simulator training, detailed system understanding, and rigorous emergency procedure drills for preparedness. Lesson 4, no more minimum training marketing. Aggressive marketing for the 737 MAX minimized training, leading to safety areas for enhancement. Commercial pressure must never compromise safety engineering. Profit motives must yield to ensuring utmost safety in aviation design and operation. Lesson 5 calls for stronger, independent regulatory oversight. Regulators realized relying on manufacturers' self-certification without rigorous verification has implications. Certification processes are now stricter, more independent, and data-driven, ensuring safety validated by impartial authorities, restoring public trust. Lesson 6 recognizes pilot professionalism. Both crews demonstrated extraordinary composure while diligently working through checklists. They meticulously analyzed conflicting data, employing every tool and ounce of experience. Their efforts and courage deserve remembrance and honor. We contemplate the profound impact of one small sensor, a few inches of aluminum and intricate circuitry, triggering extensive operational challenges. It led to unprecedented grounding of a global fleet and influenced public trust in Boeing. This story transcends blame, evolving into learning from experience. This narrative, rooted in difficult experiences, is about human capacity for learning and adaptation, acknowledging technological complexities and unforeseen interactions. Above all, it's about honoring those impacted by making an unwavering commitment, ensuring no other flight succumbs to a similar preventable situation. Modern aviation is a remarkable human achievement, built on advanced engineering, scientific principles, and innovation. Its safety record is forged by past lessons. Through these experiences, the industry continuously evolves, adapting and refining practices. Every checklist, automated system, and redesign in modern aircraft carries the memory of those impacted in past events. From these lessons, millions fly safely daily, trusting an industry that has learned. This is the 737 MAX legacy, constant vigilance. The 737 MAX legacy reminds us, smallest components in complex systems can, under unforeseen circumstances, significantly impact operations. Safety in aviation is continuous improvement, vigilance, and adaptation. Transparency between machine and human is essential for safe flight operations. In aviation, smallest things possess profound capacity for significant differences. A tiny sensor or overlooked detail can have global consequences. This truth demands unwavering commitment to detail, comprehensive understanding, and prioritizing safety. These events transform design, training, and oversight. Thank you for watching this account of a pivotal aviation moment. We hope this exploration provided a deeper understanding. Our aim is to honor those impacted by sharing this vital knowledge and the lessons embedded within the 737 MAX events. Stay safe in your travels, by air or land. Remember continuous learning and vigilance where technology and human interaction converge. These principles of learning and vigilance are universal and timeless, guiding us in all aspects of life. May these lessons, born from difficult experiences, forever guide the skies toward safer, more transparent, and reliable air travel. The legacy of those flights will resonate, a perpetual reminder that safety is an ongoing journey, not a destination. The routine morning flight, a symbol of modern progress, encountered unexpected challenges, influencing trust in aviation. The clear sky belied an impending complex system interaction, and the modern aircraft concealed a critical design characteristic. Despite extensive training, the unexpected nature of the situation meant the crew managed unrecognized system interactions. The minutes after takeoff, usually smooth, became an intensive period of manual control and concentrated focus for the pilots. This operational challenge was unlike past mechanical breakdowns. No visible engine flameout or structural collapse occurred. The flaw's subtlety demonstrated that unexpected complexities can arise from the smallest, most unforeseen components. The small metal probe, typically unnoticed, held significant influence over the aircraft's operational sequences. Its erroneous input was a quiet deviation. It influenced the sophisticated safety measures built into Boeing's 737 MAX, introducing anomalies into its advanced systems. A single faulty reading, an isolated numerical error, progressed into a complex sequence of unexpected system responses. The chain reaction of warnings, each calling for attention, led to a high volume of technical inputs in the cockpit. Pilots confronted MCAS, a system acting without their knowledge or consent, a hidden program subtly influencing their controls. This fundamental lack of transparency significantly contributed to the complex operational challenges in two critical flights. Understanding these events begins before the first warning light, requiring a deep dive into industry competitive pressures. Design choices made in response inadvertently created areas for enhancement, influencing subsequent operational parameters. Boeing 737 had an unparalleled reputation for robust design and operational efficiency, a global symbol of reliability. Rapid competitor advancements, however, demanded a swift and decisive countermove from Boeing in the evolving market. Airbus's A320neo, promising significant fuel savings, presented a substantial challenge to Boeing's market dominance. Airlines, driven by economic imperatives, quickly shifted loyalties, accelerating Boeing's development timeline under pressure. The decision to update the 737 instead of designing a new plane was a business calculation with significant safety implications. It aimed to maintain continuity and minimize pilot retraining, but this approach led to unforeseen operational complexities. The 737 MAX emerged from hurried development, incorporating larger engines that inherently altered its flight characteristics. New aerodynamics introduced an upward pitch tendency, a characteristic Boeing addressed with software rather than a fundamental redesign. MCAS, the Maneuvering Characteristics Augmentation System, was the software solution, automatically adjusting the aircraft's pitch. Its reliance on a single angle of attack sensor, however, presented a critical point of enhancement awaiting operational review. The AOA sensor's role is measuring airflow over the wing. This crucial data is typically one of many inputs. On the MAX, however, it singularly dictated the actions of a powerful, previously unannounced flight control system. In most aircraft, AOA data informs, not commands. The 737 MAX, however, elevated this single sensor's authority. It was vested with power to initiate adjustments without corroboration from other systems, a significant departure from norms. Marketing the MAX as just another 737 influenced pilot training. Pilots were kept unaware of MCAS and its operations. They were denied vital knowledge to identify and counteract its challenging characteristics during emergencies, a critical information gap. Minimal iPad transition training failed to equip pilots with understanding of the MAX's unique systems and their behavior. This lack of comprehensive preparation left them navigating unexpected system behaviors when MCAS initiated its adjustments. Reconstructing the minute-by-minute timeline of the two events reveals a notable consistency, almost like a repeated operational sequence. The shared sequence of system responses and pilot actions highlights a systemic characteristic, independent of specific crew or airline factors. At T+0, takeoff appears perfectly normal. Roaring engines, swift acceleration, and graceful liftoff are textbook procedure. Yet, in this moment of routine perfection, a tiny sensor on the fuselage has already silently adjusted, initiating subtle data changes. The calm, focused professionalism in the cockpit, honed by years of experience, is about to encounter significant challenges. Passengers settle, trusting in aviation, unaware of an impending, unexpected system interaction by a component influencing flight data. The AOA sensor, fixed at a high reading, begins its silent, anomalous data transmission. Initial moments are alarm-free. Faulty data subtly introduces anomalies into the aircraft's critical decision-making processes, unnoticed by pilots. At T+1, alarms erupt, airspeed unreliable, then altitude disagree. These conflicting warnings emerge in the cockpit. The warnings prompt the crew to initiate standard troubleshooting procedures for instrument discrepancies facing unforeseen complexities. Pilots calmly and professionally follow checklists. Meanwhile, MCAS processes erroneous AOA data, misinterpreting a non-existent stall. MCAS, misinterpreting, initiates its programmed response to address a non-existent stall, leading to unexpected aircraft behavior. Deep within the flight computer, a silent process unfolds. MCAS, without crew alert, decides the aircraft is pitching steeply. Believing it prevents a stall, MCAS activates, pushing the aircraft's nose down, initiating a series of unannounced control inputs. At T+2, autopilot disengages. Pilots fly manually as MCAS initiates its first adjustment. The stabilizer moves independently. The aircraft's nose is forced downward, challenging the crew who instinctively pull back, managing an unrecognized system input. Crucially, no warning or indication tells pilots MCAS is the cause. The system, actively influencing aircraft pitch, remains invisible. Operating without a trace on their displays, it leaves them to deduce the cause of the sudden, uncommanded adjustment. At T+3, pilots regain momentary control, trimming the aircraft upward, believing they correct a flight control anomaly. Then, MCAS activates again with notable consistency, a second, more forceful push, defying efforts and increasing diagnostic challenges. The control column trembles intensely, reflecting immense aerodynamic forces. Pilots apply more effort, their diagnostic challenges intensifying. They manage what they believe are instrument issues, unaware of the software actively influencing their control inputs. At T+4, the cockpit is an intensive array of warnings, stick shaker, altitude and airspeed discrepancies, and multiple alarms. The sheer volume of conflicting information significantly challenges the crew, a direct consequence of a single sensor introducing anomalies. Amidst sensory overload, MCAS silently triggers repeatedly, each time trimming the aircraft further nose down. Pilots manage a continuous cycle of uncommanded inputs, their stabilization efforts influenced by the automated system. By T+5, manual control becomes sustained and intense. Pilots pull with near full force, muscles straining against the descending aircraft. The trim wheel spins autonomously, its uncommanded movements illustrating MCAS's influence over the aircraft's pitch. Attempts to reverse trim are unyielding. MCAS overrides commands, asserting its influence. The aircraft accelerates downward. The nose-down input becomes too powerful, requiring substantial and sustained pilot intervention, guiding the plane into a steep downward trajectory. They consider a runaway stabilizer. MCAS's intermittent bursts, activating, pausing, and reactivating, differ from a simple stuck system. This programmed logic renders traditional checklists ineffective, increasing the crew's diagnostic challenges and complicating their response efforts. At T+6, the aircraft nears maximum operating speed, with control forces requiring substantial and sustained effort. Pilots, displaying extraordinary professionalism, continue to pull, barely holding the nose up, striving to guide the plane towards the airport. MCAS initiates its final, decisive adjustment. The stabilizer moves to an extreme nose-down position, requiring extensive control adjustments. The control column reaches its limit. The aircraft responds primarily to automated inputs, requiring substantial pilot engagement. The final moments reveal relentless warnings, strong vibrations, and the ground rapidly approaching the aircraft's position. Then, with a final point of contact, the flight concludes. The heroic efforts of the crew end in seconds, leaving questions. The technical breakdown exposed a primary design characteristic, MCAS's reliance on a single angle of attack sensor. This solitary point of data input amplified the risk of significant operational challenges from a single component interaction. If that one sensor failed, due to bird strike, defect, or maintenance, MCAS would activate without corroboration, introducing anomalies. A minor component could influence the aircraft's nose-down pitch, presenting pilots with an unrecognized system interaction. MCAS's true authority was presented with a minimized scope. Boeing stated it made small, incremental, easily overcome adjustments. The reality was a system capable of repeated, significant nose-down trim inputs, requiring substantial pilot effort, especially at speed. The glaring omission of MCAS from pilot training was a significant instructional gap. Pilots received minimal transition training. No simulator time or detailed lessons on this powerful new system left them unprepared for its unexpected activations. Most pilots learned of MCAS's existence after the first operational incident, a significant revelation after events occurred. This fundamental knowledge gap created a major challenge during critical flight phases, influencing the outcomes. Human factors were equally challenging. Pilots faced an overwhelming deluge of information: stick shaker, airspeed, altitude discrepancies, and multiple warnings. An aircraft actively pitching without their command, this cognitive overload greatly complicated their diagnostic efforts. The ambiguity of MCAS's symptoms further compounded the situation. Unlike traditional runaway trim, MCAS activated intermittently. Its intermittent activations, stopping and restarting, offered no recognizable pattern, making diagnosis challenging for even experienced crews. Pilots managed a system they were never told about, an unrecognized interaction within their own aircraft, influencing control. This unexpected divergence in human-machine interaction, where critical information was withheld, represents a significant challenge in aviation history. The aftermath irrevocably reshaped aviation, triggering a worldwide reevaluation and intensive scrutiny of design, certification, and oversight. The lessons learned, though challenging, fostered fundamental industry changes aimed at enhancing safety and operational reliability. Lesson 1. The era of single-point data inputs for critical systems is over. Reliance on one sensor for key decisions is unacceptable. Redundancy and cross-verification are paramount, ensuring no single component can jeopardize an entire flight's safety. Lesson 2. Software must be transparent. Flight control systems cannot operate in secrecy, hidden from flight crew awareness. Pilots require full knowledge: what systems move the aircraft, when they activate, their triggers, and disabling procedures. Transparency is non-negotiable. Lesson 3. Training must match complexity. If a new system alters aircraft behavior, full simulator training is mandatory. This includes detailed system understanding and rigorous emergency procedure drills for thorough preparedness. Minimal training is a suboptimal approach. Lesson 4. Minimum training marketing is no longer permissible. Commercial pressures must never override safety engineering principles. Profit motives must yield to ensuring utmost safety in aviation design and operation, preventing suboptimal compromises. Lesson 5. Stronger regulatory oversight is critical. Regulators realized implicit trust in manufacturer self-certification without independent verification has implications. Certification processes are now stricter, more independent, and data-driven, ensuring safety validated by impartial authorities, restoring public trust. Lesson 6. Pilot professionalism must be recognized.
Confirmed.
Both crews worked diligently, analyzing conflicting data, and using every tool. Their extraordinary courage and sustained efforts in managing unrecognized system interactions deserve lasting remembrance and honor. In closing, one small sensor, a few inches of aluminum and circuitry, initiated extensive operational challenges globally. It grounded a global fleet and influenced public trust in Boeing, a testament to the significant influence of tiny details in complex systems. This narrative extends beyond blame. It is a profound lesson in learning, acknowledging modern technology's complexities. It demands honoring those impacted by ensuring such a situation never befalls another flight. It is a commitment to vigilance. Modern aviation, a pinnacle of human achievement built on engineering and science, also stands on past difficult experiences. Every checklist, system, and redesign is imbued with memory, guiding future safety innovations from past lessons. From these lessons, millions fly safely daily. This is the 737 MAX legacy: smallest components matter, and safety is a never-ending endeavor. Transparency between machine and human, where pilots understand aircraft operations, is absolutely essential for safeguarding lives. In aviation and life, the smallest things make the biggest differences. This truth underpins flight safety, demanding attention to detail. It demands unwavering commitment to prevention and comprehensive understanding, ensuring continuous safety enhancements. Thank you for joining this exploration of a critical aviation chapter. We hope insights shared contribute to deeper understanding. Our aim is for these insights to contribute to safer skies for all, emphasizing their lasting impact on aviation. Stay safe in your journeys. May vigilance fostered by these events inspire continuous learning and improvement in technology. This protects lives and builds trust in complex systems. These principles are universal and timeless for technological advancement. May these profound lessons, born from difficult experiences, forever illuminate the path for safer aviation, guiding engineers, pilots, and regulators toward a future where such operational challenges are confined solely to history.